Hello, you're watching the Hub Online Network. My name is Gareth. I am back from a 2-week hiatus. It's been a heck of a go, but let's not talk about that. Let's get on with the news. So, news from Ashcroft. Slim Jim's Diner was closed over the weekend, but on a recent Facebook post, they say that they'll be reopening this Thursday morning, and we wish them the best of luck as they get started again. BC Transit, along with major retailers, are now requiring customers to wear face masks. Learn more about different face masks and their uses by looking at the breakdown that you can find on the Village of Ashcroft's Facebook page. And there are some new fitness classes starting at the Hub in September, so along with the regular workout of the day classes, you can now enjoy functional fitness and a stretch and balance class. Check out ashcrofthub.ca for available spaces. In Cache Creek, last night the Village of Cache Creek had a live meeting in regards to their 2019 annual report. It may have been a little hard to hear, but there didn't seem to be too much in the way of substance. There were a couple of changes that needed to be done to the report about monies received that actually weren't, but beyond that, there were no questions from the public, no questions from other council members, and the report was not actually adopted, but adjourned at 7:18. Overall, a short council session. And we'll be posting a better audio version of this on our YouTube page tomorrow. You can get the actual report from the Village of Cache Creek if you so desire. A little bit from the interior. So a message from Interior Health. Toxic drugs are circulating. So if you use drugs, stay safer. Call 811 to access medication, which can help, including safer alternatives to street drugs. And don't use alone. Have naloxone and know how to use it. Remember that there is also an app that you can use while you are using. It was created to help those that are using alone, although it is suggested that if you do use with a buddy. What the app does is when you use a narcotic, you can set a timer on the app. If the timer goes off and you don't turn it off or can't shut it off, it will alert emergency services to get help to you. The app is the Lifeguard app, and with so many overdoses happening in the interior of British Columbia and beyond, it is important to stay safe. School District 74 has put out a letter stating that the current plan is for this upcoming school year. The plan states that British Columbia has established a 5-stage framework to guide K-12 education through the COVID-19 pandemic. The goal of the framework is to maximize in-class instruction for all students while adhering to the provincial COVID-19 health and safety guidelines for K-12 students. The 4 principles of the framework are: maintain a healthy and safe environment for all students, families, and staff, provide services needed to support the children of our essential workers, support vulnerable students who may need special assistance, and provide continuity of education opportunities for all students. BC's schools will start the 2020-2021 school year in Stage 2. Gold Trail has created a Stage 2 plan in alignment with the guidelines established by the Provincial Health Officer and the Minister of Education. The district plan establishes the framework from which all schools have created their plan. School plans will be posted on each school's website the week of August 31st. So you should be able to go to the website now and check out what is going on. All students have been placed into a learning group. Learning groups have been established by the Provincial Health Officer to reduce the number of close in-person interactions an individual has in a day. Yeah, so you can also, do we still have the clip of Bonnie Henry talking in the school? So here's a clip of what Dr. Bonnie Henry has to say about schools and the coming school year.
Going to school is so important. School will look a bit different this year. We're going to wash our hands a lot. And you'll mostly be with the same group of teachers and friends. You will have to wear masks sometimes, and for some people, they'll wear them all the time. And if you feel sick, you'll have to stay home. The rules that we're putting in place are to help keep you safe at school. We all need to be kind, to be calm, and to be safe.
So let's talk about COVID numbers. So we got some new COVID numbers, and the numbers are relatively high, I gotta say. So On Thursday of last week, so between Thursday and Friday of last week, we had 124 new cases in a single day. And over the weekend, we had 294 new cases. So that's the report from Friday till Monday. So that is 318 new cases in 4 days. So that's pretty significant. So stay safe out there, everybody. And keep in mind that a new fine system for COVID has started up. Now, if you're throwing an unphysically distanced party, you can be fined up to $2,000. This comes on the heels of consistent higher COVID case numbers. So far, it seems like this is particularly targeted at a younger crowd, for those are the ones that are getting the fines at this time. So, from our MLA Brad Viss, he is talking about changes to the CERB. So I get various emails and letters from him that he sends to everybody, not just myself. And so this is what he says about benefit changes to the CERB. So today, August 20th, 2020, the federal government announced significant changes to the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, or CERB, estimated to cost an additional $37 billion. CERB has been extended an additional 4 weeks to September 27th. Claimants are now eligible for a maximum of 28 weeks of coverage. The Conservative Party of Canada, or the CPC, issued a statement outlining our significant concerns with the Liberal government's announcement and how they continue to fail Canadians. These include, but are not limited to, the complete lack of concrete plan to restart the Canadian economy, the Liberals' refusal to fix the EI system for new and expecting parents, and their rejection of the CPC's proposed back-to-work bonus. As of September 27th, the government's intention is for all CERB claimants to qualify for EI and to be transferred over to a revamped EI program, and those who do not qualify for EI will be eligible for the also newly announced Canada Recovery Benefit. This is only their intention because these new programs all require parliamentary approval, something that cannot be done or even debated in the House of Commons at this present time. Prime Minister Trudeau prorogued Parliament to cover up the WE scandal, but we're going to get to the WE scandal here in a little bit. His Liberal government is embroiled in. He has made Parliament's full return contingent on the approval of costly new programs, all while holding hostage Canadians struggling through this pandemic. The proposed new support programs are outlined in brief below and in additional details online. So, temporary changes to the EI program include 120 hours of work required to qualify, a minimum benefit of $400 per week with a maximum of $573 per week, at least 26 weeks of regular benefits and up to 45 weeks. Claimants can earn income, but benefits will be reduced by 50 cents per dollar of earnings, which I think it was a dollar-to-dollar deduction before. 3 additional benefit programs were also announced. The Canadian Recovery Benefit, or CRB, now providing $400 for up to 26 weeks of benefits to workers who are self-employed or otherwise ineligible for EI or looking for work. The Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit, or CRSB. I love these acronyms. There's so many, and if you don't really know what they are, they all sort of sound the same. Anyway, so this is providing $500 per week for up to 2 weeks for workers who are sick or must self-isolate for reasons related to COVID-19. The Canada Recovery Caregiver Benefit, or the CRCB, providing $500 per week for up to 26 weeks per household for eligible Canadians unable to work because they must care for a dependent or family member with a disability due to facility closures. Today's announcement makes it clear that Justin Trudeau has no plan to help Canadians go back to work. So that is from Brad Viss. And we have another actual letter from Brad Viss a little bit later on after we talk about the WE charity. I use the term scandal because a lot of other people do, but we're going to talk about that. So, that being said, we have a disclaimer. Our next story is about Justin Trudeau and WE Charity, and we are speaking about this because our parent charitable organization, the Ashcroft Hub, was to take part in this source of funding, but ultimately would not be able to due to what has happened. So that being said, since I have been away for the last 2 weeks, one of the leading stories in the country is still this controversy that started with the WE Charity scandal. It has morphed into something seemingly bigger. Over the last 2 weeks, the Liberal Minister of Finance has resigned, shuffling the Liberal cabinet around a bit, making the Deputy Prime Minister step up and also take responsibility for the country's finances. In and around that time frame, the Bloc Québécois stated that they were ready to hold a vote of no confidence in regards to the Liberals being in power. In that regard, the NDP did not seem in favor, and the Conservatives seemed to be for it. Speaking of the Conservatives, they have spent a lot of airtime going after the Prime Minister in regards to all of this, and only a day or so after the Finance Minister stepped down, there was to be a fairly large document released to the Ethics Commissioner and other parties, and then everyone would be able to ask questions in Parliament. In a dramatic show, a representative from the Conservative Party talked about the document and showed that most or all of the pertinent information had been redacted by the Liberal government. On that same day, Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government prorogued Parliament, effectively suspending all proceedings until September 23rd, 2020. Currently, there is the looming possibility that we could be facing another federal election this coming October, which I welcome because I find these elections to be fun, and it gives us another opportunity to have a full night of election coverage for you. Stay tuned to the Hub Online Network. We actually have 2 letters written by our local MP, Brad Viss, so we actually just read one. So there's one more about this We Charity and Parochian of Government. And so he says, "Good afternoon, Gareth." And again, this is not actually directed specifically at me. He sends this to all sorts of people. During the height of the pandemic, as other democratic nations found ways to keep their legislatures in operation, Justin Trudeau shamefully shut down Parliament and to try and avoid accountability. Now, I must say, really side notely, the reason that I'm reading Brad Viss's letters is Brad Viss is our particular riding's member of Parliament. The Hub Online Network is not affiliated with any group. We do not advocate for any group. It's just this is what is sent from him to us. If we had an NDP person in power in our riding, we'd be reading their letters. So please keep that in mind as I read this. So during the height of the pandemic and other democratic nations found ways to keep their legislature in operation, Justin Trudeau shamefully shut down Parliament to try and avoid accountability. As you know, the Governor General has now granted Trudeau's request to prorogue Parliament in a desperate attempt to hit the reset button. At a time when Canadians are looking for stability and leadership, Justin Trudeau has given the corruption, chaos, and cover-ups. Prorogation, there's a word. Prorogation of Parliament means all work in the House of Commons, including committees that were charged with investigating the WE scandal, developing new measures to fight COVID-19, or hearing from small businesses impacted by the pandemic. Oh my goodness. We have a person watching us in the studio today, and she has decided to start watching the show while I'm doing the show. Anyway, wherever was I here? Developing new measures to fight COVID-19 or hearing from small businesses impacted by the pandemic has been terminated effective immediately. The Liberal government What are you doing? The Liberal government has until September 23rd when they must present their plan for Canadians. Through the throne speech, if the Liberal government does not gain enough support from opposition parties for their new plan, an election could be triggered by a vote of non-confidence. Until then, the Liberals have left Canadians in a quagmire of uncertainty, facing over $1 trillion of debt this year with a now ex-finance minister who jumped ship and a prime minister plagued with scandal. Hiding out for 1 month won't solve the Liberals' ethical problems. As long as Justin Trudeau is prime minister, the corruption will continue. That being said, this is the 3rd time that the Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government has been under an ethics lookover, but that's neither here nor there. Mission Fraser Canyon has pressed issues related to fisheries, forestry, infrastructure, and public safety, to name a few. You deserve representation. I was elected to be your voice. Justin Trudeau is taking that away. My office continues to work on your behalf to ensure our committees are empowered to come out the other side of this pandemic healthy and strong. I want to thank everyone for their patience and understanding during this extremely challenging time. When Parliament resumes, our Conservative caucus will have a new leader at the helm as Their Majesty's official opposition. We will be ready to take the government to task. That being said, Aaron O'Toole, for what it is, congratulations on becoming the leader of the Conservative Party. And now, last but not least, we have a note from Jackie Taggart. So this is from Twitter. So this is from yesterday. To mark International Overdose Awareness Day, the hashtag BC Leg, or Legislature ceremonial entrance and front fountain will be lit up in purple lights last night to raise awareness of overdose and reduce the stigma of drug-related death. Whew, that was a lot to get through. I'm sorry I don't have a person to banter with today. It's just one of those things. Over the next couple of weeks, I don't think I'm going to have too many people in the studio, but that's okay. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that you guys are all watching. Were there any comments? Nope, no comments today. So, that being said, let's pick a name. Let's say Susan McLean. If you're watching, we hope you're having a good day. Thank you all. We'll see you guys Friday. Have a good rest of your week.